Sometimes you have one of those weeks that just hits you over and over and over again, beats you down, until you're crawling on the ground and realizing, that's not so bad. I could do this all week long, until the end of the week, and then you're done. You're done with it. You're tired of it. It needs to change. It needs to be better. This is the week of my life. So I'm Dan.
And I'm Nick, folks.
We're old friends dissecting one topic at a time. People, technology, media, we've got it all covered.
Each discussion here is a deep dive into our unique perspective. Taboo, forbidden subjects,
I'll tell you.
they're all on the chopping block, baby.
It might
We
come
don't
up.
pander to popular opinion. We might even get a little bit dirty.
Warning, this podcast may contain mature language and sexual content, and is for infotainment purposes only.
So join us. Have a good time.
Open up your ear holes, because we're going to fondle your follicles.
I can't see. I'm looking at myself.
Boom, boom, boom. Welcome back to another episode of the Unpanders, featuring
Right
myself.
on schedule.
Yeah.
Every week.
Mondays at 9 and Thursdays at 9. If it happens.
Occasionally. Like the full moon.
Yeah.
It does happen. We're not going to say it doesn't.
Yeah. So, did you say who you were? Who are you?
I'm Nick, folks.
What are you doing on my podcast? I'm Dan.
Co-host, actually.
Yeah, it's always been a while.
Woo, it's been a while. For you, it's been no time at all. You just click the episode. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Fast
How
forward
time
through our
works
lives. All the pieces of information you don't give a shit about. Just click right through them.
Because we're going to give them to you in a 40-minute episode anyway.
Episode 1 to 150. I skipped over all of that. It only took me 5 minutes. Great podcast. Now visit this link.
5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah. So, let me see. This is an interesting week.
You did have a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. This is going to get sad fast.
Ooh,
Just-
I'm now.
It's going to be one of those things that just, I guess it's just straight and honest. And not fair. Not fair at all.
It's funny. Wouldn't describe you with either of those words.
Ooh. Okay,
My family. Nearly
Yeah.
perished.
So,
Okay.
it is now Thursday.
Okay. They don't need to know it's Thursday.
Yeah, well, I'm referencing from the past week.
Okay.
So Friday, I'm starting in chronological order, which I thoroughly enjoy.
He does, folks. That's not a joke.
Ooh,
Not a joke.
I mean,
I did enjoy it, though.
history teacher, I'm always in the back. Excuse me, is this chronological or not?
Oh my god, oh my god.
Are you going back in time? No? Okay. All right, I'm done. Are you sure? This feels bad. No. Okay. Let's keep going.
Got it.
All right. So, dog, Pepper.
Mitchell?
That was, she...
I didn't know that, dude.
Yeah. Put her down
Damn it.
Friday. That Friday morning.
Whew.
So...
At the vet? At the vet?
At the vet, yeah. My wife and I were both there. So, I guess you hear all the cliche things, like, it's time, or like, yeah, it was the best thing to do, like, all that stuff. Like, I'm not even going to touch the cliche things. I'm going to talk about the things that people don't fucking tell you about. It's, I guess first, like, planning it is weird, like, setting the appointment. Like, if your dog is, like, she was ill, like, a month ago, there's a bunch of shit that we're like, I think we should do it now, but then we stopped because she got better, and then we waited a month, and it's like, she's, like, better than she was that month ago, but she still
How
doesn't
old
look...
was she?
She was 17 years old.
Good lord.
Yeah.
I remember that dog in college. What kind of dog? For the audience.
It was a
mixed
brindle, beagle pitbull.
beagle pitbull. Okay.
She had a
Anyway.
good long life.
She had an attitude too. Not an
Yeah.
attitude. She used to go "Arr," like do a weird howl thing.
I see. That's honestly like
Well, because it's a beagle, so I guess that's what they do.
she does it. She did something, but your memories of the dog are very weird. Like, because you remember them like towards old age, and when they pass away, you start remembering of like who they were, like in the middle in their prime. which I kind of remember that, but like you get weird flashbacks, so I'm gonna touch on that too.
Okay.
So like setting the appointment is weird because like it's not my dog, it's my wife's dog. So like she set the appointment first. I said she looks better, let's not do it. A month passes, like she's like she's like in decline, and then she set the appointment, and like I'm not gonna say like yay or nay. Like the dog is, you know, it's somewhere in like, but you get these weird guilt things of like, is it?
You don't want to do it.
Yeah, you don't want to do it. Is it? Are you doing it because you're being? Is it convenient for you? There's like a weird like.
Okay.
There's like she's peeing everywhere. I have to clean it up. Like I can't. I constantly take care of her.
Are
and,
you killing her because she's peeing everywhere?
Yeah, that's the thought.
That's the thought. I agree with you.
So my wife planned it. Like we didn't really like this. Like we discussed it a month ago, but we didn't like rediscuss it. Like what to do with all the ashes and stuff, or like what we're gonna do, like how you're gonna handle the body. I'm already generifying it. It's pretty bad, but we'll get there. Generalizing. So we end up going, and like I wasn't really hesitant. I thought, you know, it's probably the right thing to do. I guess my wife didn't like really think about it very much until it like you fast forward to like bring her in, they like get the IV in her, and then she's on the table, and you're like looking at her, and you're like, you know, I don't know, you feel sad in moments, and then you're just like making sure she's comfortable, and then like they just kind of like they, I guess, white glove you, like the technician is like really sensitive and like, okay, just like take your time and all that stuff. And then the doctor comes in, or the vet. Are vets doctors? Vets aren't doctors.
Yeah, I think they are. They have to have like 8 years of school.
Are they empty?
So. I believe. Doctor? I could be wrong. I don't check me. But if you go to 8 years of school to be a vet tech, or not a vet tech, an actual veterinarian, I believe it's in a medical degree. But
Sidebar: does Snapchat or TikTok or Skype have a tiny hand filter? I wish when you went like, and like you had little tiny hands. It's like miniature hand. It'd lighten the mood. They should do that. I can't believe they didn't do that because of our previous president. But
I can feel that laugh.
Some of my gluteus maximus clenching and unclenching. Can you imagine?
I can imagine. There it is again.
Let's stop. Okay, so my dog's dying.
Fast forward.
Oh, shit. Okay, so the vet comes in, and the vet is like, not like stern, but like, you know, she doesn't have good bedside manner. So like, she gives the thing to put the dog to, like, there's like 3 shots. So the first shot like puts them to sleep. Like, they're just knocked out. And we were totally unprepared for it. But like, my dog just like, poof, like right down, and then like the tongue rolls out, and we're just like, okay, like we want to like, you want that moment so you could like say bye to them, but they don't know what's going on. And you also feel guilty, and then like all these emotions and stuff. And you like, we both started bawling, and they start like, and before we even like could be like goodbye, like you don't get to say goodbye. Like there's just like 2 more shots and she's gone. And you're just like holding, this is brutal, but you're holding like the corpse of your dog, and you're wishing like you could have like spoke to them and like told them stuff. And like people I don't think anyone's ever like described it because they don't want to go into it, but like you really like, it's fast. It literally took like maybe 15 seconds for her to do the shots, and then like I was holding the dog, and like by the time the dog's asleep, like I could feel her pulse, but like seconds after she was asleep, she was gone. So
yeah, no, that's fast as shit.
Yeah, you did Otis?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you listen, I did an episode where I talked about this on the Panders. You can check them out. Episode blank blank blank. We'll have the link down here. But yeah, it was just really weird, because the one thing we did was we carried him on a towel that had like blood and fecal matter and everything, and like that's what we carried him in. They put him on the table, and they were like, he's pretty much gone, like there's nothing we can do for him, blah 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 blah. And like, you know, they were like, say your goodbyes. And they actually gave us the room, but the dog had already passed.
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, I did that.
So we're saying goodbye to kind of a corpse, like you kind of mentioned.
Yeah.
So they did come back in, and then like at that point, you have to leave the corpse. Like you don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like what do you do?
Yeah.
Like,
no, you
let's
want
say
someone to like.
goodbye one more time. You want to? I don't know. Like there's a
just-
weird thing where I'm
they're
like, I'm
laying
leaving
there
him
like
in
they're
the
still
room.
alive.
Yeah, like this isn't the last time I see him. Like just laying there on a towel. Like I got to leave the room. Like there's no one pictures leaving the room because you have to physically walk away.
Yeah.
And that's a weird thing. Like
And-
it doesn't disappear. You have to turn your back. It's still there, and you walk away. It's weird.
My wife was crying about that on the way home because she wanted someone to come in, pick them up, and like hold them like they were still alive, and take them to a better place or something. And she
Right.
started talking
In
about
your
heaven,
mind,
and I was
I
like,
don't know.
like
I know.
we could have. That's the other thing is like we could have talked about all this and like prepared for it, but that's not that's not the way my
don't-
wife thinks. Yeah.
And you don't want to think about death necessarily. So I
Yeah.
don't necessarily. I'm not against
No,
that.
I don't mind
You know.
thinking about death actually, but other people do.
Good on you. The
I love death. No.
Wait, they asked us about the towel. They're like, can we clean this and get it back to you? We're just like, no.
Wait.
The towel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it back. Keep it. Like, did you, like, that didn't even occur to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's weird shit like that no one tells you about.
It's really odd. It just,
Hmm?
I guess, on the grand
Like,
scheme of things.
Did you keep the collar? Like, did
Yeah,
you?
yeah. I took the collar off and kept it myself.
Okay.
I was like, this is the right. That's one thing for sure is the right thing
Yeah.
to do. And
course.
like, I made sure I held my dog and like got a big like sniff of her because like the way she smells, like you remember that it's burned
Sure.
in your memory.
Did the Pepper's feet smell like Doritos
I didn't sniff her feet. No,
in her entire life?
no, I don't think. I don't. No, maybe your dog had special feet.
Some dogs do. It's apparently I read about it. It's a
Dorito feet?
bacteria.
Oh,
It's a bacteria that some dogs have. Not all of them do. But either way, I would smell Nitro or Nash's feet, and they smelled like fucking Doritos. Like literally like Doritos. It was kind of. It was
did they
weird.
pass that to their children? Like you held their feet together for the moment they imprint on one another, the
I don't
Doritos
know.
smell. Just two dog feet you separate. You're just like,
I don't know. I literally remember that smell, so that's why I was just curious. That's funny.
did you put your other dogs down? They were big dogs, so they don't think they lasted very long.
Yeah, I think Nitro was like 11, and Nash may have been 10. But either way, I think my mom knew the vet, and both times the vet came to the house to put them down. Isn't this weird too? Did you know my sister's getting another dog, and surprising her family with it? With the boys, she has 3 boys, age 6, or I think he's gonna be 7, 5, and 3.
Too young. You gotta wait till they're a little older. Walk around the
Well,
block.
they already have a dog, Molson, my favorite dog in the world.
Oh,
And wait, it's related to him, I think. I think it's his sister's litter or something. So it's technically his nephew.
that's weird. You guys have a weird incestuous dog family.
Well, think about it, dude. If you know a dog breeder and they have
Oh, I guess, yeah.
3 litters every year, and they're like, "Hey,
you
5
buy
years
every
down the road,
one,
they're
yeah.
like, to buy all of them?
No,
What are you going to do with them?
That's how you
Breed them?
find the best dog of the litter.
Just pit them against each other.
Yeah.
What's that called? It's called something.
Sparta.
Yes. No, I was thinking dog fighting ring, but anyway.
Oh, no. And that's cruel, Nick.
Wait, and I just found out my mom just told me yesterday she's getting a new one.
Wow.
I was like, is everyone getting a dog? Anyway, so yeah.
They say people buy dogs when they're the most depressed, so.
Corona. That's probably a lot of dogs being sold.
Yeah. I
My
wish I was a dog
girlfriend's
trader.
My girlfriend's talking about getting a dog.
Oh, great.
And if we split up, it stays with Dominic, whoever house he's at. And I said, that's a great way to look at it.
It's a double package?
You got Dom and the dog? I thought you had Dom and the dog.
Here's Dom's riding the dog in the wild, like Lord of the Flies.
They didn't ride a dog in that.
I mean, it makes the book better, so in the movie edition, it's going to be there.
Sure. Anyway, that was your whole week, huh? Wild.
Yeah, so the dog died. I don't know. It spurned a lot of things about, like, remembering what something it was and like you remember the peaks and all these weird things like start hitting your brain about like weird memories. Like it activates something in your brain, and you also have this like weird vision of like I remember like her laying like it's impactful, and like you don't get those moments. I guess in short, it's like the friendship that you built up with you and the dog, like that's the value. Like that's the value. That's the most important part, right? It's the moments that you had in the past where you're actually like genuinely like both in your prime, and like you like it doesn't matter that the person is dead, or the dog is dead. Like the decline is not what you remember about the dog.
I mean, I would agree. You would say that about a person too. You're also not going to remember the dog. Like, how do you remember Pepper? I remember Pepper just like she was 2 weeks ago when she was almost dying and old.
Yeah,
like,
sleeping 90% of the time.
Yeah, 1 week before you had to put her down. That's how I'll remember her always. Like you don't. That wouldn't make sense.
So
you also wouldn't remember her as a super puppy because I mean that's a small portion of your life. You almost generalize the whole midsection of their life.
Yeah,
you're like that's Pepper.
It's also weird. Like, do I really remember those things? And the answer is probably not. The other memory that it spurned was that I remember when my grandfather died, my dad's dad, and like I had gone to the viewing, and like he obviously didn't look like himself because they put makeup and they pose him and like
bombed and everything else.
Yeah, and it just it's like the life, the vitality is all gone. Like the semblance of them is really weird. And like I don't know, that was the first time I saw one of my like relatives like dead. So it made me remind me of that. And then also my dad, like it was weird because like the way people interact with like a dead body, you would think that like you respect it, but there's no like people don't talk about it. Like they don't talk about like what are you gonna do like after I die? Like it's in a will somewhere, and then like the way people grieve and like that's not shared. That's not a communal response. That's like people grieve in different ways. Yeah. But I remember my dad like going up like as just like I was looking at my grandfather like alone in the viewing, and he like grabbed my grandfather's hand and was like, look at this. And then he grabbed his hand and was trying to move it around because it's like really stiff, and he was like tapping it like it was like a wooden doll or something. And I was just
I couldn't do that. Yeah, I'd be too afraid. That's kind of cool. I mean, not cool.
It's messed up, and also like
it's messed up, but also you can still be personable with a person who died, because like I'm too afraid to touch dead bodies. Like I'll do it, but very gently and very just barely, like super respectful touch. Like, hey, I know you passed. I'm touching your hand. Respect, and then I pull away. Like I'm not here. Like, hey, like I don't.
Yeah.
There's no familiarity between me and this thing anymore.
So what I just kind of, I guess maybe realized is that my dad probably had a moment where he was trying to like say bye to his father, and then like when he probably went to hug him or something, like his body was rigid and stiff. So like
he was different.
It's gone. It's like the relationship is not with that body; it's with the memories that you have. So like I think that's part of what he was doing, was like saying like, hey, this isn't pop up anymore.
Who I remember.
Yeah,
this isn't.
I think he was doing maybe that for me, but also maybe a little bit for himself. But
yeah,
I don't know. You get a whole bunch of weird things that happen, and then the motion side of it is like, I guess it's like throwing like a grenade that has like explodes at different times. You get little weird fragments that like you just like stop and remember something, or you like hit you and you start like
times.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where like you kind of choke it down over time, and it's like becomes duller.
I don't think you can swallow death whole ever, no matter who it is or what it is, even if it's a pet. I don't think you can just take that all at once and really acknowledge it. I think you have to break it down in pieces so that it's like, oh, damn, that hurts. I remember that. And then randomly, like 14 hours later, you're taking a shower and you're like, oh, shit, remember this? And you're like, oh, my God, that's nuts. And then, like, you take more of it. And then, like, I don't know, over the course of years, you've taken it down, and I guess the dosages slow down.
Yeah.
There's very little left, but you're still little pieces that'll... You'll every now and then
get you, and I think that's showing that you're alive. I think as you get older, you probably it doesn't hit as hard. And the other thing,
maybe you have more. Oh, you imagine how many death grenades you're swallowing when you're like 93.
A lot of death grenades. But also, my kids are 2 and 4. They didn't realize they haven't asked about the dog.
So Dominic was exactly 4 or 3, and he pretended to know, but he didn't. I don't think he got it.
Like, they haven't asked like where she is at all. They're not like, where'd the other dog go? I have 2 dogs, so like, the other dog's around, and they go, "Oh, Kobe," and they pet her.
Kobe, yeah,
and they
that's
like,
right.
they don't go like, "Where? Why is there only?" Oh,
Not even. Did you guys try and explain it to them or anything?
so like a month ago when she was about to die, we're like, "This dog's about to
Give her the
die."
tall. Yeah, let's give
and
her
we
the
didn't
tall.
sugarcoat it. Like, she will be gone. Like, she will be dead. And they
You
were
say
like,
heaven? You say heaven?
I don't even know that we said heaven.
Okay, I was just curious.
She will not be here. You'll no longer see her. You want to say bye to our dog Pepper? And like our little guy was like, "Bye, Pepper."
I love that. They're like,
"Bye, Pepper. Bye, Pepper." And then they just like take off running to the other side.
of course. Yeah, they got stuff to do. They're busy.
It's like, holy shit. Like, we as human beings are pure evil. They don't know.
I mean, no, we're pure in the moment. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
they
no
don't
harm
know.
in
They
their
don't
brains. Yeah, 100%.
I feel like
Still hilarious.
a lot of this stuff is societal. Like, the way you feel. I don't know.
Could be.
We'll see.
Angie's uncle died like 2 weeks ago now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's touching on a lot of that, and like just the way different people react with the body. He was not embalmed, and it was COVID, and it was right away, and it was like, I think they had this makeshift viewing with only like 12 people, like within 36 hours of him passing.
Huh.
And he was not embalmed because he was not getting buried. They were gonna cremation. He looked great.
Oh, yeah.
He was actually
Fantastic.
one of the he was the only dead body that looked like exactly like the person. It was kind of weird.
Huh.
And then I realized all the other people that maybe it's the embalming, maybe it's because over 48 hours, maybe it's all this other stuff that makes them look fake and bloated and flat.
Yeah.
He looked very good. Now, he also still looked like a dead body, so when we showed my son Dominic, we weren't sure if we were going to do it because he's 6. Like, when do you? Is it okay? Is it not okay? Should we keep him from it?
Yeah.
We asked him what he wanted to do, and he said, "Yeah, I'll check it out." Or it's not exact words. Like,
Sure, why not?
Really gonna say goodbye? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'll do it. This is the real weird part. He kept waiting on cues from us on what he was supposed to do, or feel, or say, or act, or look at, and we didn't want to impress anything on him.
Yeah, just
So
let him do
it was both of us were doing a waiting game around a dead person, and it was so weird. So I was like, "Hey, let's go up and kneel in front of him," and like it felt fake to do that, but also it gave Dominic something to do. Like, "Hey, let's go up, let's go kneel, let's talk to Uncle Bill, let's say goodbye, let's say thank you," and then I grabbed his hand and I was like, "Hey, thanks, Uncle Bill," and I don't know if I was doing it for me so much him. And then Dominic, he said goodbye, and I told him what to say. It's not like he said it. Like, he was not like, "Oh, goodbye, Uncle Bill." I was like, "Say goodbye, Uncle Bill," and he'd be like, "Goodbye, Uncle Bill." I'd like, "Say thanks for all the things he got you." And we did that kind of stuff, and I thought that was good for him to experience. I don't even know, but we left, and I literally remember I was outside because we didn't want to be in the room all day. You know what I mean? So we're outside, both sitting in the chair, and I'm sitting next to him. It's just me and him in the hallway. And I'm like, "Hey, buddy, you saw your first dead body today. You okay?" Like, it was like an episode at whatever that show is where the 5 kids go see the dead body. He was like, "Yeah, it's okay." And I'm like, do you understand what's going on? And he was like, "Yeah." But I don't think he did.
It didn't register.
I mean, a little bit. It did and it didn't. So I don't know. But it was touching on that. Just weird stuff.
Yeah. Let's have a drink for Uncle Bill and Pepper.
Hey,
Good lives. Good lives.
good lives.
Okay. So that was my Friday. I guess the next thing was Valentine's Day?
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. And I guess between my wife and I, it was good. We already celebrated it earlier because we knew Valentine's Day was going to be a shit show, and then there's a storm coming, foreshadowing. But the one thing that's weird is that I've been having a fight with my family, my mom's side of the family especially, and does your mom call you on Valentine's Day? Do you call her? She doesn't?
Neither. No, I think we're not Valentine's Days.
You just skip over it? She usually calls me and just says, hey.
No.
No. So this is the first time that she didn't, like, call me. She didn't even...
Ooh. So here's a real quick question. So do you think she thought to call you and said, I'd rather not, or I better not, or I won't? Like, it's not like she forgot, correct?
I think she thought about it. For the way she is, I'm pretty sure she thought about it. I think she felt like she was entitled to me calling her.
Oh,
and then
maybe.
I'm not going to. So I think she's, like, bitter and then, like, doubles down.
Well, you didn't call her, though, correct?
No, I'm not calling her.
You imagine if you called her and she didn't pick up?
Well, it's sad because I started doing that. Like, my mom calls and I was just like, eh. I've become with this is such a stereotype that, like, the guy doesn't want to talk to his mom. And now I think I realize it, that, like, it's not like she's a good person and everything. It's just like
we don't have in common just about anything. The conversation's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, and the things that she'll, like, joke about are, like, cringeworthy in like anti-COVID misinformation rhetoric. Yeah, and it's not her own opinion, because I know, like, she'll formulate her own opinion, and I like her own opinions, but whatever she's regurgitating is not her opinion. It's just like some story that she's fed, and she tries to tell me it, and I'm like, you gotta stop, Mom. And then she doesn't get it. Like, she doesn't get that. It's just, like, wrong, like, the way she's, like, spitting things back at me. I don't know. So that was a disappointing aspect. What is going on there?
Something blinking in the background? Some kind of device that would let other coworkers know that they're safe and their location? No? Okay, good.
No.
Good.
I took it all the way down. I have them on the floor now.
That's fine. Wherever they are, they can stay there forever.
Yeah. So sometime, I'm going to skip ahead. Sometime around that Sunday, Monday, my furnace started making thumps. I fixed the furnace like 3 times. Apparently, there's a cage that spins in there and blows air. But like when there's a bearing that can get worn out. When the bearing gets worn out, it like goes like this. It shakes the entire house. So this is like the second or third time I've tried to fix that thing, shaking the entire house. I spent like $1,000 doing it. But it was right before a goddamn ice storm where we needed the furnace to be on. Mm-hmm. Luckily, I have these electric heaters. I had like 4 of them from the last time it broke during the winter. Beautiful clear glass. That's really clear water.
That's kind of cool. Groovy. Oh. Good.
So yeah, that thing, the furnace doesn't work. And we had the coldest snap since like 1889 or some bullshit. Like 100 years. It got down to 15 degrees.
In Texas.
Yeah, in Texas. In Houston. And
anything else happen in Texas?
Oh my God. We got a little bit of, I guess when it gets cold, so I'll rewind. There was a time, maybe like 6 years ago, when it got cold. It was like 30 degrees. And I was like, I'm from the north, so I'm like, it's not that bad. Let's just like check out like what's going on here. Like, I went out that morning debating whether I should go to work, and I was like, I'll go. I drove maybe for 5 minutes around like the suburban area until you get on the highway, and everything was frozen over by the time you got to the highway. The overpasses on the highway were like surprise ice slicks. So I get to the highway, there's already an accident like across the way, and it's like, okay, it's a minor fender bender. I make a right. I'm like driving along. I go on the on-ramp. The moment I get on the on-ramp, there's like an accident on the other side of the road. I'm like, oh, this looks like it might get bad. At the top, there's overpasses on every cross street. The highway goes over those streets. On every one of those overpasses, there was somebody sliding, like, out of control. On one of them, there was cars that had crashed into each other, and one of them was on fire. And like, I'm just thinking, I gotta get the hell off of this fucking highway. And there aren't exits every overpass. So like every time I go over an overpass, I just like start to glide a little bit. And like by the time you get over to the other side, you're like, and you like correct. So that's how bad it gets, is that you have idiots, and then you also have this like unexpected like zero control zones on the highway. So luckily, this thing was bad in advance, and they said, we're going to shut down all the highways, no one's going anywhere. And like if you check the footage, there's nobody. There's like maybe a truck driving, like one truck. So this thing, apparently, the electric grid it's controlled by capitalism. It's a market economy for like the way they buy and sell power. And Texas has their own grid, and Texas has their own power, like means of generation. It's just that's not instantaneous. It's like the oil and natural gas that run them. Like it takes a while to spin up a plant, and they're not incentivized to do that. So when
why not? I'm just curious. I actually didn't understand this part. Because they're buying it cheaper elsewhere or something?
It's no, I guess because it's like if you can, like, you capitalize the profits and you socialize the losses. Like if you're gonna go through and then it's gonna be like catastrophic, you just be like, federal government, I need help. Like give me money. But they don't like the oversight. There's like strings attached to like the federal power grid that that Texas didn't want to do, so they separated it. So all these plants, like they couldn't output the power when people are like trying to suck down 3 or 4 times as much power. So they just decided to stabilize the grid. They were going to shut things off, like shut off distribution to certain areas. Meanwhile, if you have like a variable electric plan, like normally they sell it like by the megawatt. It was like $9 a megawatt is normal, which is like 9 cents per kilowatt hour or something. This went up to like, there's a cap on it, and it hit the cap of $9,000 per megawatt.
Jesus.
So wait, was it? Maybe it was 90. I was thinking
It's
it's
only
times by 100.
Isn't it?
$9
Per megawatt? Or I think I did the math wrong.
It might have been
Okay.
$90. I think it was actually $90
Okay.
per megawatt. But still, it's 100 times the cost. So like the people that are buying, like usually if you have like a set fixed plan, like you're fine. Like you're paying like 5 cents per kilowatt hour.
Okay.
Which is, you can, whatever. You can use up as much electricity as you want.
You can make a podcast and get yelled at for using electricity. I got you.
Yeah, my electric bill was $40 higher because I just got it today. And like I'm like, meh. But the people that are in like, there's an app called Gritty, which is like you buy the electricity every 5 minutes. If you're buying electricity every 5 minutes, like in a day, you can spend $100 on your electricity.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's people with variable rate plans who might get screwed in this too. But the other thing that's surprising is that, I guess there's two things, is that there are electric suppliers that have been locked into their rates that obviously are forced to buy electricity, but like they're going into debt trying to buy electricity. So there's going to be a lot of electricity providers that just get wiped out completely because they can't.
They're like, we're bankrupt. Done.
Yeah.
Call it.
Which also I think compounds it because if you're a provider and you're just like, don't buy, like I don't know that your customers know that. I don't know if they like, I mean, that's what I would do.
If you can't provide, is there a legal recourse?
There probably is. So like there's going to be a shit show that comes out of this of like, you shut off my electric and then I lost heat. And that caused me to have pipes burst in my house and my house flooded.
Insurance. So who's insurance going after?
It's going to be the homeowners because no one's going to be like, how do you blame? You have to like link the electricity going off to that provider, and then like
that would be easy. I would think you'd be like, listen, the only reason the pipes burst is because we didn't have heat, and we didn't have heat because electric company didn't provide us.
Yeah, but they have to prove intent. They can't be like, I'm sorry, it's an act of God or something. Like we can't control distribution.
How isn't it the electric company's fault?
Because
they had the electricity to distribute, or they didn't.
They didn't, and initially they didn't.
Well, then wouldn't they go after them for not having the electricity? Like what's it called? Like some
the
kind of
generation
insurance policy on theirs? No, like if we don't have it planned, like an insurance plan.
Like a class action lawsuit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what the people need to do is like class action lawsuit on the regulators who set up the grid to be this fragile. Because you get a lot of politicians that are like hand waving, and it's like, no, let's just get all their money. We'll just take all their money, and then we'll make another one.
It's freaking wild.
It's crazy.
So what happened to your house?
So, I luckily, when I built the house, I had an option to buy a fireplace, which we hadn't used for like a good, if I totaled up the amount of time that we used it, it'd be less than a day, like less than 24 hours in the span of 10 years.
Sure.
In the past,
in Texas, I understand that. That makes sense.
In the past week, we've probably had it on for we put it on for 2 straight days at one point.
Nice.
And
what do you supply it with? What are you using?
Natural gas. We have a natural gas line.
Okay.
and that stayed constant throughout the whole thing.
I was going to
So
say that didn't
that
waver
didn't get
or
disrupted.
anything like that.
I was fearful because if it goes out and then the gas gets turned back on, like if you had like
Then you wouldn't know gas is filling the house for right.
it can kill you. So like I was sleeping next to the fireplace just to make sure that like that didn't happen.
There's no pilot or anything like that?
No, not on this. It's not automatic
Okay.
like that.
That's fair.
Plus, there's no electricity, so even if you had a pilot.
Right, I guess it wouldn't be on necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I do have a gas stove, so when it was really cold, like 15 degrees outside, I had the stove on.
Did you?
Yeah, full stove, full blast. Like it gets toasty near the stove, so it feels pretty good. It does a decent job of heating the whole house. The whole house was like maybe 65 degrees. Like the area that you were in next to the fire, like they're probably like 30, 40 feet away from each other, the stove and the fireplace. In between them, like 60 something.
What would you have done if like you didn't have this?
So you're hearing lots of stories of people like taking their grills and try to heat their house with their grill, getting carbon monoxide poisoning, or also like my wife saw people buying like fire pits. Like they must have tried to like I don't know if they had an idea of like, hey, let's have fun outside in the snow with a fire pit, or like let's heat my house with a fire pit, which I think legitimately is what they might have done.
Not a great idea.
It's not a great idea.
We will say.
Or getting a car. A lot of people got in their cars and started them in the garage, and they didn't open the door to the garage, and they died because of carbon monoxide.
A lot of people die from all this shit?
There are like dozens of people that died from it.
I didn't hear numbers or anything like that. I just know it was bad.
Yeah, when 3 million people are out of power, a certain percentage of them will like flee.
Do dumb shit.
And do dumb shit.
Weird stuff.
Yeah.
Or well, and it's also 16 degrees outside.
The other thing is like fleeing, like going to a hotel. That doesn't save you because they might not have power or water, which happened to some of our friends.
Why don't people have water? Let's go.
Yeah, well, exactly that. Is that certain people are having their houses, their pipes freeze and burst. The water level drops. People are also running their faucets to keep it from bursting, so your water level is also low. And then it's so cold that like main water lines can also burst.
Yep. In which case, whatever you do in your house won't save anything.
And then the water supply becomes suspect. It starts to change color. It goes like faint brown to reddish brown, and then like deep brown. It was so brown that like even in like my tub was full, maybe a foot full, and like it was already brown. And then when I turned it on, you could see how brown the new brown was, and I was like, you could see the plume like expand, and it's like, and that's just. They said it was. This is also kind of freaky. Is that like it's iron deposits that are from wells that haven't been pumped in a while, so it's like backup water, and that's okay as long as you have water pressure. But if you lose water pressure, you don't know like if things have gone into the system. So you like. There's a point where they say it's fine, it's all right, but you're like at a certain point it's supposed to be like boil your water, you can get sick from this, and like you have to pay attention. Like if you have no power, no cell service, how the hell do you know it's time to boil your water? It's like you have to assume it's when it turns brown. You have to.
If it's brown, boil it down, folks.
Yeah, but there's no indicator. There really is no indicator because it could be clear and you still need to probably boil it unless you have
correct. There's a boil emergency. Well, that's what the whole idea of the news was, isn't it? To give you important information like this. Now, without electricity, I'm just telling you, dude, that's back when radio and TV were all we had before the internet. Mm-hmm. Like, that was the idea behind them, right? For emergency information.
I wish there was a channel on your radio of just, like, people's responses being idiots and, like, trying to spread, like, their own version of reality instead of, like...
So, like the internet?
Because with the internet you get all these people that are like they proclaim all this idiotic stuff.
QAnon, which might be right, might be true. We don't know. Let's give it some time.
Or they're screaming like get out of town, or like there's a gunfight at the
OK Corral.
Well, at the supermarket, yeah.
So are you guys? By the way, are you guys actually through the storm and everything else? And or is it still like 20 degrees down there?
It warmed up to like 40 degrees today.
Okay.
But it's getting down to like 20s tonight. And I think this is the last day before it goes back to 70s and it's beautiful weather.
It's insane.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy when you have 3 days without power, cell service, or water. It gets kind of weird.
It is weird.
like the things you can't do with that, like dirty water. You said you can't brush your teeth. You can't shave because if you cut yourself, then you just like get that dirty water in your. You gotta have a good shave.
Our ancestors would be proud. I'm not gonna shave with this dirty water. I don't want to nick.
You also like forget that you can't like wash your like if you like washing your hands is weird because it's like, okay, I'm gonna use soap to make my hands clean. I'm gonna rinse off the soap, and then it's like, how much of this is soap and how much of this is dirty water? I'm gonna wash my hands again. Oh wait a second,
A bottle of water.
Yeah. So I would just use alcohol. It's like dip my hands in vodka. Be like, okay, I'm good.
I think there's gonna be a spike in COVID and everything because a lot of people probably, like in a poorer area, probably had to go somewhere to some kind of shelter or something when it's that cold. No electricity. You got 3 kids, let's say.
Yeah, I saw pictures of people like fully decked out in their winter gear, and Houston's winter gear is just like one jacket. But it's like there's people that were actually like really smart about it. They had generators, and like 2 of my neighbors had generators. They just plugged that thing in, turned it on, and they were pretty much good. But also, I can't talk about that. Damn it. But yeah, if you had a generator, you would, I never thought I'd need it for the cold. I thought I'd need it for a hurricane. Like for a hurricane, I'd have to have like my own AC window units. I was like, I don't want to do that. But maybe I should buy one now for winter.
They're not bad to have in an emergency. I think my parents bought one. Our power would go out during like really bad rainstorms and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the sun pump in the basement would go.
Because it flooded.
And of course, the best time for your power to go out is when you're already flooding. Yay! So
it's weird how that happens. It's like all of the bad things happen all at once. And like failures.
But that's also like saying your snowblower dies during a blizzard. I mean, when else are you using it?
Yeah, but the way things compound, I think people are not prepared to handle for like, what if you didn't have any food at the beginning of the damn thing? And then it was like, oh, everyone's hysteric, and they took all the food from all the grocery stores. And you look and it's like, what are you going to eat? Yeah, you could be screwed. The people can't even boil the water, like if you get pasta. Like you might have an electric stove. You can't heat that water to boil it anyway.
Right.
Like you might as well drink dysentery, go right ahead.
Chew on that crunchy pasta.
Yeah. It's gonna dye brown from that iron.
It actually doesn't matter if you call it gravy or sauce at that point. Put a little ragu on it, chew it down. Ugh. So, would you say one final thing happened for your week? And you might not be able to discuss any details of it, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah. So the storm thing ended kind of today, and then I got laid off. It's lovely.
And then I got
lovely week.
laid off.
I mean, I saw it coming like maybe 2 months ago, so it's not terrible.
But it still is kind of it's a big hit.
It's weird. I mean, I've been working for like a straight 15 years, so like finally I'm like, okay, I need a break. But in my mind, I'm like by not working, I'm losing out on like gaining for the future, so I could retire early or something. I don't know, but it's a weird. Like I kind of wanted to go through this process because I've never been at a company that literally went bankrupt before, and then we're like, okay, we're done, and it's really like. The weird part is, like, for me, if I owned a company, I would probably do that. I'd be like, we don't have any money. We're done. We're done, guys.
See you guys. It was nice.
We did a good job.
We tried.
Yeah. But here, it was very much like, come on, Dan, you're in the core group. We got to figure out how to keep this thing going. And it was, like, still the same, it's like dog and pony show about, like, keeping it together, like, having a core group.
Let's do this. We're going to get through it. Like that kind of a thing.
It wasn't more like a pep talk. It was more like what can we possibly do? And, like, the answer is, like, you should have just gotten money before. Like, keeping it going, like, the moment you lay people off, I bet you probably can't get half of those people back. And, like, they've gone off and, like,
done other things.
Screw, yeah. They're gone. So, like, you can't restart a business after you not paid people.
No, and then there's A, the cost to find them, B, the cost to train them, C, they're going in on something they've never touched. I don't know, it's a mess.
Yeah. The scary part was, like, I was listening to the call of, like, okay, like, if we really want to do this, we'll just, like like form my own thing, blah blah blah, do this, handle all this stuff, and like I'm the only technical person that's in the core group, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I will have to take on all of these tasks. Like it will not be worth it for me.
No.
If it becomes like way too serious. If it's
life or death for the company, and you have to do all this stuff and adhere to these new policies and do this new tech and do this.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm willing to like go if it's an easy sell. Like if it happens in the first few weeks, like okay, like I can get you through. But I have not seen things move quickly, and I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm just being a realist. Like I'm not pessimistic at all. I think like it takes time for people to sign contracts, and that time is probably like a month. And there's not even anything in the pipeline that's going to be done in a month. So it's like what like I understand your desperation and wanting to like keep the thing going that you've been like it's your baby for like 4 years, but like
it's time to cut.
Yeah, you just make it an easy, clean. Like it's over, guys. Like
chop it.
Yeah.
Cut.
The other thing is they don't even have full ownership of it, so they can't just be like, okay, we're gonna do this. They have to like ask. Yeah, they have to ask other people of what to do. Like, can we not what to do, but messy. Like, can we do this?
Messy. Probably gonna be a mess. But what are you gonna do?
Drink. What? So I mean, eventually I'll find a job. I just don't take a bullshit one. I have probably. I think worst case is maybe I just like take a full, like the max amount of time I could take is 6 months because of unemployment. Mm-hmm. I probably wouldn't wait that long. I'd probably do like 3 months. Nah, you can
do 6 months. Good lord. Oof.
You think I'd take 6 months?
Go insane, dude. You would be a different person.
I might be a better person.
I won't disagree with that, but I also won't agree with that at all. I will not agree with that.
What do you think my spiral will be at the beginning? So this is is the first day. My downward spiral. And how long? You say 4 months?
No, Thor.
Oh, I'll just become bloated.
Fat. playing video games with your headset on, talking to whoever else. Hi, it's me. What's his name? Meek. It's me, Meek. You have your friend Meek over. You guys be playing.
Playing with a 14-year-old kid.
Yeah. Be fat. Have a beer belly. It would be kind of cool.
So you think that's my downward spiral?
I think that's where it would end up, yeah.
What if I'm a fit, sexy beast at the end of this thing?
I'd be impressed. I'd be like, damn, dude, the fire is there. And then you'd get a job, and what would happen to it? Let's be serious.
Yeah. Life. Sadness.
Life. Is life sadness?
I mean, duality, right?
I guess. And you talked about death, too, at the beginning, that's right.
Rebirth.
We all have a rebirth. Usually I grow my hair out before a rebirth. Starting to get there. Yeah. Just saying.
I'm not sure what vibes I'll feel. For like, I'm hoping I feel like summer vacation vibes. But
I earlier talking about it, I was like, dude, this is gonna be like a vacation for this guy. He's gonna have a blast. But it's like 26 degrees in Texas. It's like people are scrambling for their life. COVID is going on just nonstop everywhere, and you're like, maybe this would be nice. It's like, you're like standing at the edge of vacation, and people are screaming, running for their lives, and you're like, maybe it'll be all right. And it could. I'm not saying it wouldn't. I'm just saying it's kind of funny that maybe it won't.
Well, roll that back a year ago when I think a lot of people, I know a lot of people got laid off, and like I'm like driving by Home Depot, and I just feel like it's a packed parking lot. Like people are doing home renos and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, wow, they're completely unaffected, but like maybe they're just bored. You'll find me at Home Depot like building a bunch of crap out of his house.
Or maybe doing it for other people, like weird odd jobs.
People. Who cares about other people, Nick?
Money, because they need the money. Not
I like money.
And now you do.
Money's good.
Money's good. Oof.
So that was a good week for me. How was your week, Nick?
Wild week. Pretty good. I have this dude who's calling in and work, and lately I've gotten all the leads, all the phone leads in the company, which is a terrible idea. I try and get them to hang up, but less work for me. I spend $400,000 a year on cable. I just need this wire, and I'm like, sorry, sir, and I hang up. But this one dude who's been sticking with me, and I crack up. There's a cat toy. It's like a wand. with a little silver ribbon around it,
Oh.
and it has feathers on it, and it's packaged. And he's like, "Listen, I have an order for 200,000 of these." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "I need you to get the silver wire that's at the end. I'll buy it in 36-inch increments. Here's the packaging. What kind is it? I'll buy it. I don't care how much it costs. I already have 200,000 orders, and I need these made like in the next few weeks." And I'm like, "I got no idea." And he's like, "I'll overnight you the package." And I'm like, "I'm not really good at figuring this stuff out. I'm trying to get rid of them." And he's like, "Anyway, Nick, I'm overnighting it to you. It'll be there today." He sent it today, and it snowed, so we didn't go into work. And he called me 3 times. And finally, I was like, "Hey, Sam, I gotcha. What's up?" He's like, "Did you get it?" And I was like, "Everyone's out, my guy. We'll get it." And he's like, okay, I think we're going to get this through. I got a guy, he's working on the other merchandise. I got another guy who's working on this. I just need you to know what wire that is. We're going to make 200,000 units, and that's just for next month. After that, we're going to double. Have you ever been to Petco? I was like, yeah, I've been to Petco. And he's going on and on. This guy is hyped about it. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to figure out what it is. I'm not going to be able to get it in. I don't care. You're screwed, dude.
This is exactly what...
Like, it sounds like your company in the sense that
So
it's
simple.
like, it's so simple. All he has to do is get this invention.
Figure it out.
He literally bought this patent or idea or finished product from someone, and he has to fulfill the orders.
Yes.
Little does he realize there's so many headaches involved. What's the little metal wire? He didn't got a part number for me.
He had no idea.
And he's calling me like I care. I'm the worst employee at the job. You could be calling a company and getting the worst employee they have, who's like this. Yeah, sure.
Not your job to figure that shit out.
It's not, and literally they don't pay me that much, so I don't feel bad. Meanwhile, Sam over here, his email is samceo at whatever the hell his company is, and I'm like, oh, Sam, you poor bastard, you bought into a bad plan, dude. You have a whole slew of headaches you don't even know about yet.
The craziest thing to me is, from like an ownership of a business standpoint, is I've seen it. I never knew this because I worked in the public sector for 10 years. When you switch over to the private side, it's like all of these people that are inventing stuff, they sell this like vaporware, this fake product that they don't have. They don't carry inventory of it. They just try to sell people on it. And they try to make them believe that they have all of them right now.
Ready to go. They're ready to go.
Yeah. And when they actually do sell it, they're like, oh crap. And then, so they go out.
Now they have to find someone to, they try and get bids for it. Okay, I need 3 companies to bid. I got the cheapest one and the quickest one. I'll go with in between.
Yes.
And then they don't really check these companies, and oh my god, there's going to be an 18-week delay? Oh, I didn't think of that. I should have thought of that.
They try to pull on all the different supply chains. This is exactly why I was hired, because they had a contract for like 3,000 of whatever devices we were doing, and they didn't have a finished product, and the person that was like building it and doing it, like they were not going to get there, and they figured that out. So they're like, we need somebody that actually knows what the hell's going on, a la me. And I go in there like, this is going to take like 6 months, and they're like, we're delivering next month, and I'm like
It's going to take 6 months. I'm just telling you guys.
Yeah, it ends up handcuffing me, saying we got to go with a slightly changed design that will work, but I'm never going to get to the next version. I just get handcuffed, and then like part of that gets axed, and you're just like, well, like what do I do? Like I'm here to build you something new, but you're not going to give me anything to do it with. And it's just
correct. It's an impossible set of like equations.
It's also run by like marketing and sales and like financiers, not engineering people. So like,
of course,
when it comes down to it, like why don't I just do that? Like I could bullshit own 100% of the company and then actually do it. So like fuck the people trying to like sell some bullshit idea so that someone else can actually come in and do it. Like just
so that's the thing. They're really good at selling.
Are they?
They did. I mean, they sold somebody on a bill of goods that was undeliverable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. If it's me sitting in that chair and I'm selling to those people, I just think they're just taking advantage of the people that are like idiots.
You're not buying from them, are you? You're not the seller and you're not the buyer in this instance.
So you're just saying I don't know?
Well, I'm just saying you don't know how to trick them or how to play that game. And I think they all play this game, and then the realistic part where, do you guys actually, either side, know what it takes to build this?
No.
Both of you are wrong. It's like, Why are you selling them? And he's like, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3.5 weeks. And you're like, this is impossible. Both of you stop. I'm the one who has to make it. It's not possible. And they're like, fine, 2 weeks.
This is
Sold.
this is
And they
that
have this
video.
handshake, and you're like, this doesn't make sense.
It's the YouTube of like, can you draw me a green line using a red marker? And it's
I've
like,
never seen this. It just sounds good.
yeah, I went 3 lines, all perpendicular. It's like, And the engineer's just like, I don't think that's. And the marketing guy's like, hold on a second.
Hold on.
I think that we can do
Yes.
this. He's like,
Sign us up for 2
not.
of them.
No, I don't.
I don't think. Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
That's what
And it
every
happens.
deal is.
Yeah. It's because the people making deals are deal makers, not the people who are doing the work. It's just weird.
It's weird to me because I could crush it as a salesman. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, dude. That's just it. You're so good at being an engineerman, maybe you couldn't be a salesman. That's pretty good.
Salesman.
Salesman. You're so good at being an engineer, man, that you couldn't be a salesman.
Salesman. I just.
Anyway, dude, you're weak.
I
Kind of sounds like you all got those weeks. Huh?
It's probably one of the worst weeks ever, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of up there. You got the death. You got a shitty Valentine's Day. Your mom didn't even call you.
Mm-hmm.
She called me on Valentine's Day. Is that crazy?
Nick, what's wrong with my son? You should be my son.
No, she. It's even worse. I was gonna make a sexual joke, but what if she was just like making what's familial jokes like?
Dan, I gave
you're
birth
such-
again. And then she's like, it's only a partial. That doesn't count.
Oh goodness. I wish I had a real son.
Oh, man, that's rough.
But no, I mean you had that going on, putting a dog down, getting laid off. Your entire state was set in a state of emergency.
Yeah, 2.8 million people without power.
Oof. Large number. Not ideal. I'll say not ideal.
Yeah. It's interesting week. The weirdest part is that I'm not affected by any of it. I don't feel.
Yeah, you don't seem sad. That's
Yeah.
not the word for it. You seem like you're like, fuck, that was a lot. Exhausted, I would say is the word almost.
I'm not even.
Actually, I think
slept
you're on
really
the other
well.
side of exhausted. Like
Yeah.
you went through it. Like you know when you don't sleep,
Yeah.
and then eventually you're just like, not even tired anymore. Your hair's a fucking mess.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. But if you don't have power and you just have a fireplace, it is so soothing. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like next to that fire, you can feel the warmth, and you're out. The whole family just sleeping like you're camping right in front of the fire.
Kind of cool.
Those 2 straight days where it's just like, poof, and you're like, you lose track of time. You have no idea what time it is. You're like, oh shit. It happened both ways, where like, I thought maybe it was like 4 o'clock and it was like 1 o'clock, or like I thought it was 1 o'clock and it was actually like 3 o'clock, and I was like, I don't even know what's going on here.
That's
I have
wild.
no concept. Plus you don't have no sunlight. I don't even know.
Yeah,
I like those days though.
definitely an interesting, unique thing. And I think the highs go with the lows too. Like, I mean, you have to be experiencing extremes to take the high pleasures you can from such simple things as a fire.
Yeah.
Like, if all your power was on and everyone was fine and no one was in any state of emergency and everyone was fine, I don't think you guys couldn't enjoy that fire like
Yeah.
that. No.
I can't be like, hey, everybody, just like sit by the fire with
Live
me.
around the fire. But when you needed it, like to live, like it made it almost a magical thing.
Yeah, it's
Brought the magic back.
the magic, the simplicity,
Yeah.
the friends going out and harvesting dead trees so that they could keep warm. Like, it kind of brings back
Harken back.
Rust vibes.
Staring at his computer, slightly looking
That
over.
would be amazing.
I'll be off for 6 months now.
You could hear people tapping on your walls,
Yeah.
shouting
Hello?
expletives at you and telling you to come
Hello?
outside and bring some cloth. I need some cloth. You're like, I don't trust this
I
person.
don't think so.
Alrighty, I think. What else? Got anything, Nick? What do you got, Nick? You feel
That's
good
it.
about yourself?
Every day.
Do
I think I'm destined for a change real soon.
You think something's gonna come? Do you think you're ever gonna get laid off? Or you'll get fired.
So 3 days ago, you know how I've mentioned on this podcast multiple times that I'm the anti-salesman?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Funny jokes, etc., etc. Recently, my desk has moved. I'm with a pod. I have 5 other coworkers who are not related to me.
Well, your office looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the plants.
Thank you. The plants are old.
Oh, really? Are they?
Yeah.
Do you water them?
No, they're fake. So we fake water them.
That would be an amazing, invention. Yeah,
watering
it's not
can.
real water. It just looks like water. And people are like,
"Oh, it's for your fake plants."
it's so that when they take smoke breaks, I water my fake plants with fake water. Just excuse me, I'm watering my plants.
I do take fake smoke breaks. I do. I do a lot at this company. But anyway, 3 days ago, was it Tuesday or Monday?
Mm-hmm.
My manager, who's only 5'6", came over, and I never see him anymore. It's worth mentioning.
Does he wear high tops or something?
No, he comes over to the cubicle wall, and I'm head and
lifts
shoulders
himself
above
up.
it, and just his head pops above it, and he goes, "Hey, Nick, hearing something around the office," and I was like, "Oh,
Jesus.
what?" I was just through with it because I don't deal with him usually. He was like, "There's a rumor going around that you don't want to move up sales class because you don't think it's worth the hassle."
Oh no!
I was like, "Oh, no, I told him my secret because I would have to stay an extra half hour. There's a new manager you get with a call sheet. I got to fill out a call sheet. I have to make 20 dials a day. Now I only have to make 10." So yeah, he was 100% correct, and I'm trying not to sell because it's just not worth it. I make $1.
Yeah.
So he's looking at me and he's like, "Hey," and it's probably a joke, right? It's probably you're probably joking with someone, and it just got passed around, and I was like, "Yeah, kind of, Rich." I didn't even say yes. I was like, "Kind of," and he goes, "Okay, well, if I heard that, maybe upper management heard that, so just keep that in mind. It's something you want to work hard, you want to do good here, you want to sell, you want to do really good." And I was like, "Yeah, Rich, absolutely." And he was like, "Okay, good, because if the higher ups here, they might think, hey, you're not ready to move up a sales class." And I was like,
Yeah.
So what I was doing anyway. Cool, we're in agreement.
All
See you,
right.
dude. But it was really funny. He was like, "Okay, just."
Does he
and then
stay
he
your
started-
manager if you move up?
No, he's my manager now.
Oh.
It was just funny.
He doesn't like you.
And then he started walking away, and he goes, "Oh, another thing. Anything else going on? You got any questions? Everything good?" I was like, "Nah, we're good, Rich. Thanks." I love it. But he really called me out, and those were my exact words from 2 hours ago when I was telling everyone in my pod. So I don't know if one of them told or someone else heard. Because they were like, "Don't you ever want to move up?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to stay an extra half hour for $1 an hour more? Fuck that." And they're like, "Yeah, but then eventually you can sell this and this." And I'm like, "You know how much commission I got in the past 2 months? $130. Whoop-dee-doo. Fuck them. I'm just not going to sell." And they're like, "You can't do that." And I'm like, "They're paying me hourly. I'm fine." And they're like, "Good point." I guess you can. I don't know.
I've been reading into a lot of the career-based TikTok stuff, so going through different videos, and there are a lot of people that are in your position where they have a salesman that's making $100K for God knows what reason, but the person that was doing the TikTok was saying that that's got to be bullshit. They haven't it's a mirage. The person who's making 100K, he's in with somebody. He's a nepotism. He's somebody's uncle or nephew or whatever.
Some of the ones Rich has been there for 15 years. I think Suino does, and Suino's only been here for 10, 12 years. But he works his butt off, and I don't know. He has a couple big
Probably not
customers
worth it.
by there's another 2 people who are related to the owner. There you go, nepotism. Then you got Sean, he easily makes 120 to 130, but he I think he does work really hard. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Libby, she probably makes 90 to 100. She I don't know, she works pretty hard. But
do you think these people have mental problems?
No, but I also
personality issues.
Yeah, I would say they do. But
there you go.
Well, they're losers. Is that bad? I don't know.
They focus entirely on that. Way too much on it.
Yeah, and then they also buy into their circle jerk culture, like
Oh
where it's like,
yeah.
whoa, you can't do this quote without talking to so and so about this item. And I'm like, who cares? Shut up. And they're like, whoa, you're gonna use your time off just for the heck of it? Like that kind of a attitude where they like don't want you to.
Gonna
Like there's
do what
like,
I
is
want.
someone sick? And it's like, no, I'm gonna use my time off. Okay.
Oh,
You can do
creepy.
that. Like
It's
yeah, there's like
creepy.
this cult like thing going on. You could feel it.
Yeah, that was like my interview with Amazon. They're freaking. There's something
Y'all, they
off
don't
with
like ooh,
all of those people.
ooh.
I'm not allowed to discuss it because I signed an NDA. But they asked me the same question like 5 times.
Would you take a break?
What?
Would you take a break ever? No.
I'm sorry, can't comment on that one. But they looked really tired, and very obviously, they didn't ask me anything human. Like it was like they had like a scorecard that they all shared, and were like, "What part of the scorecard isn't filled out?" It's this question, and I would like to ask you this question about.
What is the question? You can ask the question, can you?
I'm not allowed to. I can't reiterate the question.
Can you?
I don't think so. It was all
What if
about
you change
like
the nouns and the verbs?
you can assume what the question was, Nick. Like you can ask me what you think the question was.
Was it about like if you found out an employee was not working to their hardest, would you tell them?
I think that
One of
was
those?
a variant of one of the questions. Yeah.
All right, how about this one? If you could do something without getting caught, would you do it, even if it hurt the company? Like one of those?
No, that's more interesting than any of the questions they ever asked me.
Wow. You... Come on, you gotta kind of fiddle with it.
It is like,
let's say you also took another interview with Wawa, and this is what they asked you. Go ahead. Yeah, Wawa.
So yeah, if Wawa was interviewing me and they said like, "Hey Dan, you went to the cooler and you saw that there was only milk there, but there was supposed to be orange juice. How would you go about getting orange juice?" It's like that sort of question. You'd be like, "I would just move it over," and they'd be like, "No, I don't." I think the answer they're looking for is that like, oh, I would notify the CEO and make sure that future installments of the milk would then be put in orange juice, and I would make referendums to the documents so that
Jesus
the documents would
Christ.
then dictate that the person who's delivering the goods would then go to the correct location. I'd also mark it on the sheet. I'd make sure there was a map, and the map actually dictated that they had to go there, so that the mistake never happened again. And
God.
you could replace me with a robot as soon as I finished my job.
As soon as I finish my sentence.
Yeah, you have been complete. What?
Sounds terrible. It makes me want to throw up.
Yeah, it's scary because I think all these jobs are becoming really corporate and they like have no human logic to them. It's just like you must fill out this block and you must take your little block and stick it in our pyramid, and then when the pyramid is complete, we don't need you. Like you're done. Like we'll just take one guy or two guys from that pyramid, and like they'll work on the next pyramid, and everyone else, you guys are just schlubs. You're gone.
I keep thinking of my dad's job.
Did he do really well during the last year?
He did okay. I mean, like the toilet paper and the sanitizer, which he's been selling for years.
Yeah.
The prices were jacked through the roof. So for him to get it, it was kind of tough. And I mean, he doesn't gouge his customers because he likes them all. So I don't think he made much, but like he stayed in business. But anyway, no, I thought of like it's the opposite kind of job. It's very feely, just talk with each other, tell old stories. Like you know your customers, you just call them
It's
up at
easy.
random and like I don't know, it's like friendships.
Yeah, I mean easy, not in said like like the level of work is easy. It's
No,
it's
no, no,
easily
it's like-
easy emotionally.
Yes, but it was funny. Like I still hear about customers who died and stuff, or like who had kids or something. My dad will be like, "Oh, dude, do you know VFW 3398?" And I'm like, "Yeah. What about him?" And they're like, "The one dude who comes in all the time. He passed." And I'm like, "Oh shit! Like, dude, I knew him for years. I don't even remember his friggin' name. I know the same jokes. I know which football team is his favorite. Like, shit like that feels so human." Versus jobs now feel the opposite.
Yeah, I saw that front and center with one of my managers here, is that he was extremely personable, like extremely, and like very nice. But when it came down to like business, he had no emotion whatsoever. He would do anything to make a buck, and it was very strange. Like, you wouldn't have guessed it, but he was ruthless. And like, by the time you figured out he was ruthless, you figured out that like, maybe
he already was part of his calculation.
Yeah, he was calculating how to talk to you to get you to make you feel like you were not necessarily a friend, but comfortable. Yes, he was super intelligent and like very much like, I guess in his plan he was like, okay, in 5 years I'm going to retire and I'm going to manipulate everybody to get there.
So I just thought of this today. It's funny you brought that up. One of my greatest skills was I can just talk to anyone. I can shoot the shit. I'm a nice guy. I can crack a joke. I can make it easy conversation, break the ice, all that kind of stuff. There's probably a job for that. And I was like, damn, that would be kind of cool if that was my job.
Go salesman.
And then I was like, no, like this is very, I do international. I don't talk with these people.
Okay.
I just give them a price.
Yeah.
But let's say salesman. And let's say I did get a job doing that. And let's say I was getting paid more the better I was at it. And I just sharpened my skills so much that I was just literally charming people on purpose and like manipulating them and being fucking funny and nice to them and using them just to get better at my job. Like, eventually that just becomes sick. Like, that's fucking weird. Like, it would actually be a nightmare if I was using my like just cool, like, yo, what's up, my guy? Yo, you got that shit, my guy? And like, I don't know, just talking normal.
You would
people,
lose
but I was
something.
using it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, like a weapon, and then my fun hobby that I'm good at becomes like a what I sharpen, a tool I use, something I use to just leverage people and get money and do this. And
I think that's what certain people do, is that they're good at something and then it becomes like hollow. It's a very strange way of weaponizing it.
Yeah. It just occurred to me that sounds really gross.
Yeah.
So
if you could make a boatload of money on that, though.
I don't think I'd want to.
I agree with you.
Fair. Well, we've come full circle. Your week is now officially over?
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
I don't have a meeting tomorrow, so I can just wake up.
Don't have anything tomorrow.
It'd be weird. I mean, it'd be completely different if I didn't have kids, because then I would just be like, I'm sleeping. Like, if I was single, I would just not wake up. Ever.
What? That was good. That was a good laugh. I felt that one. Not wake up.
Yeah.
Ever. You said it so good.
Thanks.
Oh, we meant it.
Yeah. But, I'm going to find my peace, I think. I'm going to take this week and just be like, zen. I'm going to go zen with it. And then I have a 6-phase plan that I'm just going to implement.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you, my guy.
Watch me become like a millionaire for like some stupid thing I invent in this like 2-month period.
Like a cat toy?
Yeah.
You need a metal wire?
I need, yeah. I don't know.
Like this. I don't know. Good luck.
I'll be like, God damn it.
He's going to call me 5 times tomorrow and be like, I just need to know if we can get this, please.
It's
I'll
like,
be like, I don't know. Nobody in the warehouse knew what this was. Meanwhile, I didn't even leave my desk. I'm like, I forgot. Poor guy.
oh, my entire financial future is in your hands, Nick.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it on my desk and be like, damn, hey, Dad, you got a cat, right? You want the cat toy? That's what's going to happen. Can't wait.
Holy shit. Good finish.
Life,
Strong
death,
finisher, Nick.
Life, death, jobs, joblessness, and cat toys. That's good.
Well,
thanks for joining us. We got lots of socials, tons of them. They're active all day, every day. You can click here, you can click there. Subscribe. Send us fan mail. Send us hate mail. Send us pictures of ourselves from outside our window. Whatever you need. Either way, we
I want to see that window. It's the second story. I should have told people that, but you can get on my neighbor's roof. I don't like her.
Anyway, folks, we do like you. We like you a lot. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night.